I have many abilities.
With ABLEnow, you can save for health, independence, and quality of life, while maintaining certain disability benefits. Thanks to ABLEnow, you can invest for the future and achieve financial goals with the help of your family and friends. Open an account today and start saving for the things that are important to you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Forrest Lodge. I am the Director of Strategic Partnerships at Sportable, the Adaptive Sports Club in Richmond, Virginia, and host of the 2025 National Wheelchair Basketball Association Adult and Junior National Championships. On behalf of Sportable, the NWBA, and ABLEnow, I'd like to introduce you all to the Empowered Play Financial Freedom with ABLEnow webinar. And from ABLEnow, we have Brittany Bullock, Relationship Marketing Specialist, to kick things off.
Yes, thank you, Forrest. So thank you all for joining tonight, whether you registered or joining from one of the live streams. My name is Brittany Bullock with ABLEnow, and so I have the privilege of traveling around the state and working with different partners to educate the public on the Empowering Able Savings Program. So tonight we're just going to kind of cover some basic introductory information on how you can save in an ABLE account and how that ABLE account can empower you. Next slide for us. So really quick presentation tonight. What we're going to kind of talk about is we're going to cover information about the ABLE Act, which establishes the rules and requirements of ABLE savings accounts. We'll look at eligibility requirements, how you can use those expenses, and then also how to learn more if you are ready to open an account. The reason this information is really important is because ABLE accounts are a relatively new financial tool for eligible individuals with disabilities, and it helps to empower self-determination and financial independence. As of, when we first opened the program, we noticed that only around 1% of eligible Americans have actually opened their ABLE savings account. So again, we like to spread the awareness and get that word out there about this empowering savings tool. I do have to note, I am not a legal financial advisor, or I cannot give legal advice, financial advice, or tax advice. If you do have those specific questions, we just encourage you to reach out to the professional that would be able to assist you. Next slide. All right, so what is ABLE? If you came to the games last year, you probably saw the table, especially for the juniors weekend, with all of the ABLEnow information on it, or ABLE information, and you may have been wondering, what is ABLE? So ABLE accounts, again, are a relatively new savings option, specifically designed for eligible individuals with disabilities to save private funds for the purpose of paying for a qualified disability expense. As you all may know, for far too long, people with disabilities could not save for the future out of the fear of losing their public benefits. And for most individuals, that asset limitation is only $2,000. And again, they can only have up to that amount in order to stay eligible for these benefit programs, which provide much needed support and services. The idea for ABLE actually came about 15 years ago when a group of parents sat down because they were frustrated that they could save, establish college savings accounts and other types of savings for their children without disabilities, but they couldn't really save money for their children with disabilities. So again, these advocates fought for that inequity, resulting in the ABLE Act. So with the ABLE Act and ABLE accounts, you are empowered to save up to $19,000 a year in an ABLE account without endangering eligibility for certain means-tested disability benefits, such as things like SSI and Medicaid. So Working account holders can actually save a little more in their ABLEnow account thanks to the Able to Work Act. And we do have additional information on our website if you are a working individual and would like to take advantage of that Able to Work benefit. But again, for most individuals, they can contribute up to $19,000 a year without endangering eligibility for certain means tested disability benefits. The ABLE Act, again, was a result of Mr. Stephen Beck Jr. Unfortunately, Mr. Beck did pass away before the ABLE Act was passed into law. So they did name the ABLE Act after his advocacy, and ABLE stands for Achieving a Better Life Experience. Next slide. So ABLEnow, again, like I mentioned, if you were at the games last year or coming to the games this year, you're going to see ABLEnow kind of throughout the arena, especially that first weekend. And so ABLEnow is the one of the nation's largest independent sold ABLE savings program. We are administered by the Commonwealth of Virginia, but we are open to eligible individuals in all 50 states. Our program opened back in December of 2016. And again, like I mentioned, we have ABLE accounts in all 50 states as of today. Commonwealth Savers is an independent state agency of the Commonwealth of Virginia, and we also manage programs like our Virginia 529 College Savings Program and a private retirement program as well. But again, ABLEnow is going to be a direct sold ABLE savings program. So you're going to do everything directly through our website, ablenow.com. You wouldn't have to go to a bank or anything like that. And again, we are open to eligible individuals in all 50 states. Next slide. I do want to also make note that we also offer an advisor sold program called Able America. And Able America is the nation's first and only ABLE program available through a financial advisor. And this program opened in July of 2018. Able America is administered by Capital Group, which is home of American Funds, and they're one of the nation's oldest and largest mutual fund companies in the country. Again, Able America is open to eligible individuals in all 50 states. And like other ABLE programs, Able America is governed by the rules and requirements established by the ABLE Act, such as who is eligible and how much you can save. The really nice thing with Able America is that you can work with the financial advisor to build your ABLE plan that meets your specific needs. For the purposes of this presentation, we are mostly going to focus on our direct sold program, ABLEnow. But if you're interested in Able America, you can contact your financial professional to see if they are available to offer the Able America program to you. Next slide. All right, so the biggest question that I get when I'm out is how do you know if you're eligible for an ABLEnow account? And so currently, an eligible individual is someone who developed the onset of their disability before age 26 and is entitled to supplemental security insurance or income or social security disability insurance benefits based on blindness or disability, or they can self certify that they have a qualifying disability diagnosis from a physician. It is important to note that eligible individuals may only have one ABLE account at any given time. So, again, the individual must have had the onset of their disability before the age of 26, and they're entitled to SSI or SSDI, or they can self certify that they have that qualifying disability diagnosis. We have a form on our website that if you're going to self certify, you could just download that form and have the appropriate physician sign off on that form and submit it with your application. So we make it very easy. And then the other question we get a lot is it only certain disabilities that would qualify for an Able Now account? And the rule is that the individual must have the disability for at least 12 consecutive months, and the disability must have a major impact on kind of their day-to-day living. Now, I do want to make a really exciting announcement. Um, about 2 years ago, there was new legislation passed called the Able Age Adjustment Act. And what that states is that starting January of 2026, so less than a year from now, that ABLE eligibility is going to extend from onset of disability prior to age 26 to onset of disability prior to age 46. So this will really mean that millions of more Americans with disabilities will be able to take advantage of this important savings tool. So again, if you know of someone or have a loved one who received their disability diagnosis or after age 26, excuse me, after age 26, before age 46, they will be eligible to open their accounts starting January of 2026. But currently, the onset of disability has to be before age 26. Next slide, please. Now, another great question we get is that, individuals or their families know that they can save up to $19,000 per year, but they want to know how can they use the funds in their Able Now account. So the money in an Able Now account can be used at any time to pay for a qualified disability expense. An expense is qualified if the expense was incurred at the time they were considered an eligible individual. The expense relates to their disability, and the expense helps to maintain their health, independence, and quality of life. Now, examples of qualified disability expenses include but are not limited to the categories listed here on this slide. These categories were intentionally designed to be broad, as qualified disability expenses can vary widely from person to person. So, one of the main categories that we see are going to be basic living expenses. So, a lot of our account holders will use it for day to day expenses, food, transportation, clothing, groceries, different things like that. Health and wellness, housing is another. Category that we see a lot of. Transportation, maybe you need to get to and from appointments or make modifications to a vehicle. Education and training is another great one. So, ABLE accounts can be used for education and training, assistive technology, financial management, and legal fees. We get a lot of questions if you can have an ABLE Now account in a special needs trust. And the answer is yes. And sometimes we know of account holders who may have both, and they may have both for different reasons, but you can have an Able Now account in conjunction with those different types of special needs trust. Typically at the National Wheelchair Basketball event, I like when people come up to the table to ask, if you had an Able account, what would you use those funds for? So if you're able to put into the chat if you're logged in or if you're on that live stream, feel free to kind of throw out some ideas of what you may use your Able Now account for. Next slide, please. So we talk about being able to save in an account and not have your benefits impacted. We talked about how much you can save in that account and what you can use those savings for. So now we're going to look at the advantages of saving in an Able Now account. So that first advantage again is save beyond asset limitations. And this is really important. So generally, funds in an Able Now account are disregarded when determining eligibility for certain means tested benefit programs such as Medicaid and SSI. So I'm going to throw out a really important number for you all in just a moment. If you are an individual or your loved one is an individual who's receiving SSI, the account balance can grow up to and including $100,000. So an account balance of up to and including $100,000 is disregarded. Money in an ABLEnow account in excess of $100,000 would be considered an asset and could cause SSI benefits to be reduced or suspended. So again, your account, if you're receiving SSI, your account can grow up to $100,000. If you go up to 100,000 and a penny, that penny will be considered an asset. So again, if you're receiving SSI, you do want to keep that number in mind. Now, there's no impact to Medicaid benefits regardless of how much money is in the ABLEnow account. And I do have to note that in some cases, after the account holder were to pass away and all final expenses are paid, funds remaining in an ABLE account may be recovered to reimburse the state for Medicaid related services. And this provision is commonly known as a Medicaid payback or Medicaid clawback. For Virginians, so if you are here in the state of Virginia listening to the webinar tonight, the state is prohibited from pursuing Medicaid recovery claims against the ABLEnow or Able America accounts for Virginia residents unless it's required to do so by federal law. Now, for those of you who are listening to the webinar tonight who live out of state, you just want to check with your state to see what their stance is when it comes to Medicaid payback and ABLE accounts. There are some states that have passed legislation that would prohibit the ABLE account from being, or from Medicaid, from, pulling funds from the ABLE account. But again, if you are in another state, you just want to check with that state to see what their stance is. Now, the second benefit here, the advantage, is you can save with the help of others. So anyone can contribute to an ABLEnow account, including the account holder, their family, and friends. And making a gift contribution is very easy. We also offer direct deposit. So with direct deposit, a paycheck or Social Security income or other recurring electronic payments can be automatically deposited to the ABLEnow account. So that's a really nice feature that we offer. The third advantage is that you can save in an account designed for your unique needs. So ABLEnow accounts are flexible and low cost to maintain. You can manage your account anytime, anywhere with accessible online tools and a mobile app. And you can pay for qualified disability expenses with your ABLEnow card, which is available to all account holders at no additional cost. So when you do open an account, you will receive an ABLEnow debit card. It is a Visa card, so that card can be used wherever Visa is accepted. You just would not be able to pull cash out of the ABLEnow account. And then that final advantage that you see here on the screen is you can save tax-free. So earnings on investments in an ABLEnow account grow tax-free and are never taxed when used for a qualified disability expense. ABLEnow contributions may also qualify for the saver's tax credit if the account holder is eligible. And then in addition, if you are a Virginia resident, there's even a state tax deduction benefit. And the way that that works is that if you make a contribution to an ABLEnow account, you can deduct up to $2,000 per year. So this is for anyone who makes, any Virginia resident who makes a contribution, they could potentially take a state tax deduction on their Virginia income taxes. All right, next slide, please. All right, so we also offer investment options. And so ABLEnow makes it really easy to save and invest at your own pace. And here's how this will work. So the first $2,000 in your ABLEnow account is automatically allocated to an FDIC insured deposit account, which is linked to the ABLEnow card. I know that's a mouthful, so we typically call that your deposit account. So again, your deposit account is what's linked directly to that ABLEnow card. So you as the account holder can decide to continue your savings in that deposit account. Or once the balances of your ABLEnow deposit account exceed $2,000, you have the option to invest additional contributions into one or more investment portfolio. And you could see the four different options we have here. So we do offer an aggressive growth, moderate growth, conservative income, and money market. Keep in mind, each portfolio option is intended to address a different investment strategy and risk tolerance. So you want to just make sure if you are going to invest, you're picking that portfolio that aligns with your investment strategy and what your risk tolerance is. But again, this is optional. So some of our account holders decide to continue saving in their deposit account and just using those funds on their debit card. But some individuals may want to save long term, or maybe they're saving up for a large purchase. I think I saw someone in the comments mention they want to purchase a house. Yes, so buying a home. So in that case, you may decide you want to invest some of your funds so that you can get some additional growth with your savings. But again, that investment option, it is totally optional and it's going to be up to you as the account holder on if you decide if you want to invest the funds or not. Next slide, please. Yes, you can use your card to make purchases. So again, this is a great question since we're talking about kind of those investment options and the deposit account. That debit card, it's treated like a debit card. It's a Visa card. So maybe you need to run and get maybe you need to run to the store and get something, or maybe you need to pay for a doctor copay, or maybe you need to, if you're if you're an athlete and need to get some new materials, you can use that card to pay for those different qualified expenses. Great question. All right. So, what are the costs associated with an ABLEnow account? So, there are minimal costs associated with the account. So, ABLEnow, along with our custodian, which is PNC Bank, offers some of the lowest fees in the country among ABLE programs. And the great thing is the fees are going to be the same for all customers, regardless of their state of residency. So there's actually no enrollment fee and no minimum contribution. So the great thing is that you could decide to open your account tonight, but you don't have to worry about an enrollment fee or a minimum contribution. We will remind you after some time that, hey, if you haven't made a contribution, you may want to go ahead and make a contribution. But there's actually no, enrollment fee upfront or minimum contribution. There is an account service fee of $3.25 per month, and it is waived if there is a balance of $10,000 in the deposit account. And then keep in mind, if the account holder or their authorized representative choose to invest some of their funds, there are also those asset-based fees depending on the investment selection that they choose. We do have this fee schedule available directly on our website, which is ablenow.com. All right, next slide, please. Oh, so great question here. What if that $2,000 limit goes below 2K? So for that deposit account. Um, so if you are not investing, so if you're just keeping the funds in your deposit account, it is fine. That balance can go down to $0. You just would continue to make contributions. Um, if you are investing and your deposit account dips below 2000, they will give you the option to move some of your investment funds back over to your deposit account if you wanted to. So you don't have to worry about that. It's not like you're going to be penalized if that account drops below the 2000. Very good question. All right. So we are going to now look at how to open an account. So just as a recap, ABLE accounts, ABLE savings account, ABLE stands for Achieving a Better Life Experience. With the ABLE account, it empowers you to save up to $19,000 per year in the account. that amount is determined by the federal gift tax. So if that gift tax goes up, your ABLE contribution limit will go up as well. You can use the funds to pay for any qualified disability expense that's going towards maintaining health, independence, and quality of life. And you do receive a debit card with the account. And then currently, eligibility, the individual has to have the onset of their disability before 26, but starting January of next year, that eligibility age will go up to 46. So I know that's a lot of information, but Forrest did put our website link in the chat. And so all of that information is available there. But the video is being recorded. And so you can always go back and revisit this recording as well. So again, like I mentioned, we're going to take a look at how to open an account now. So again, that website is ablenow.com. And you'll see at the top of the screen, there is a open an account button. So right at the top of the screen. And then first, I'll have you go to the next slide, please. So who can open an account? There's two ways that you can open the account. So an eligible individual may open and manage their own account independently if they are over the age of 18. But let's say the eligible individual is a minor under the age of 18, is unable to open the account, or chooses to open an account but not exercise signature authority. An individual authorized to act on their behalf may open and manage the account as their authorized representative. Next slide, please. So we'll take a look at how that authorized representative option works. So if you're an eligible individual and you are going to open the account yourself, so you're falling under this category, you are just going to need to provide your basic information. So think of the information you would need if you were to open like a bank account. So to open an account for yourself, you will need to provide your, of course, name, address, date of birth, social security number, and then you'll have the option to link a bank account at the time that you open your account or later on when your account is established. Now, let's say you're going to open the account and manage the account for someone else. So you're going to act as that authorized representative. You will need to provide that same information. And then again, they will give you the option if you want to add or link a bank account now or wait till later to link that bank account. Now, there's a number of different categories under the authorized representative, as you can see. So the first category is going to be eligible family member. So parents, grandparents, sibling, and spouses can open an ABLEnow account by self-certifying their relationship to the eligible individual. And for individuals under this category, no documentation of the relationship is required during enrollment. So if you are a parent of an individual, or maybe their sibling or spouse or grandparent, you can open and manage that account as the authorized representative. Now, there's a couple of different categories. So legal guardian, power of attorney, care representative, and not listed on the slide is rep payee. If you fall under that category and you're going to open and manage the account for the individual, you will be required to upload the appropriate legal documentation electronically before being able to contribute or withdraw funds from the ABLEnow account or use the ABLEnow card. But don't worry, applicants in these categories will receive instructions on kind of what form to submit and how to get those forms or documentation submitted during the enrollment process. So again, just to kind of recap, if you're opening the account yourself, you just need to provide your personal information, plus you can link that bank account during enrollment or later on. But if you fall under the authorized representative category, again, keep in mind, you'll have to provide your information as well. If you're an eligible family member, you don't have to submit documentation of proof of your relationship. But if you do fall into one of these other categories, so a legal guardian, power of attorney, care representative, or even a rep payee, we will notify you on what documentation is needed and how to get that documentation uploaded. Next slide, please. So Able Now makes it very easy to manage your account 24/7 with the online consumer portal. You can access your account by selecting My Account from the website. And then mobile users can actually download and use the Able Now mobile app. The mobile app makes it very convenient to manage your account from a mobile device or when you're on the go. The mobile app, Able Now mobile app, is available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store for Android devices. So, regardless if you're using the secure online portal or you're using the mobile app, you'll be able to check your account balances. You can make contributions or pay for your qualified disability expenses. You can even upload receipts to organize and track your qualified disability expenses. So that's something I encourage everyone to do is take advantage of the expense tracker. And you can kind of just see, what categories you're using those expenses for and kind of keep track of what you're using that account for. And then you can also view account statements and notifications or even reach out to our customer service team. Now, one thing that we always stress with our account holders or their family members, the authorized representatives, is making sure to protect that account with a strong password, but also keeping your contact information up to date. A lot of times we may change our email or our phone number, or we may move and may forget to update that information. So, you want to just make sure that you're keeping your contact information up to date. And that's just because, in case we have to get in touch with you, or verify your information, we have the most up to date information. And then we also offer a financial resource hub. So if you open an account in your online account portal, there's going to be a new section that's a financial resource hub. And this is an area that's going to have a number of different short little articles and infographics on there that really touch on financial education. So that really helps you to strengthen your financial wellness and maximize the usage of your Able Now account. All right. Next slide. So, as a thank you for you all joining tonight, we do want to give you guys a chance to win $500 to an Able Now account. If you already have an account, you could still enter to win. So, what you'll simply do is if you have your phone, you could scan the QR code. But if you happen to be listening from your phone, what you'll just do is go to ablenow.com/win, and you can enter for that same chance to win $500 towards an Able Now account. I also want to say that, just to kind of encourage everyone to come out to the games this weekend or this weekend in April, or stop by the National Wheelchair Basketball Games coming up in April, especially the juniors weekend. At our table, we are going to also be giving away a chance to win funds, additional funds. To a lucky individual to an Able Now account, and a little bit of swag as well. So, if you're going to be at the games, especially that first weekend, feel free to stop by our table, especially for a chance to win funds to an Able Now account. All right. Next slide, please. So I compiled some frequently asked questions. And so I'm going to spend some time going through these questions, and I'm keeping an eye on the chat as well if any additional questions are coming in over there. But the first question that we'll get a lot of times is, I'm older than the age of 26. Can I open an Able Now account? And the answer is yes. So if you're older than the age of 26, but you had the onset of your disability before you turned 26, you could still open an Able Now account. Now, if you're older than 26 but got your disability after 26, just keep in mind that you will more than likely be eligible to open your account starting next year. Do I need to live in a certain state to open an ABLEnow account? And the answer is no. So the great thing is that we are a nationwide program. We have accounts in all 50 states. So you don't have to live in a specific state to open an ABLEnow account. How can I save money, or how much can I save in my ABLEnow account each year? So for 2025, you are empowered to save up to $19,000 in your ABLEnow account. And again, that will not impact eligibility for those means tested disability benefits. Can I have an ABLEnow account and a special needs trust? And the answer is yes. So you can have an ABLEnow account in conjunction with special needs trust, those different types of special needs trust. Some families, it may be a necessity to have both. Some families may just choose to have both. But again, you can have an ABLEnow account and a special needs trust. Keep in mind that myself nor my colleagues are the experts on the special needs trust. So if you do have questions about that or want to open a special needs trust, you would just need to reach out to the appropriate individual or organization that could assist you. Who can contribute to an ABLEnow account? So anyone can make a contribution to an ABLEnow account. We even get questions like, could employers make a contribution to an ABLEnow account? And the answer is yes. So, holidays, special occasions, birthdays, family may tell their loved ones, hey, make a small contribution to the ABLEnow account. But again, anyone can make a contribution to an ABLEnow account and really help grow that savings. And then lastly, where do I go to open my ABLEnow account? And you're going to go directly to our website, ablenow.com. So everything is done directly through our website. You don't have to go to a bank. You don't have to go in person anywhere. You're going to do everything directly through our website. And so we do have some great questions and answers available on our website under the resources and FAQs tab. So how long does the application approval process take? We typically like to tell individuals to give at least 5 to 7 business days, but sometimes it just depends on the information on the application, and it just determines or depends on how the account is being set up. The next slide will have customer service information. So if you have submitted your application and you haven't heard back, you can always reach out to our customer service team. But for most of the time, we do just like to tell individuals to give at least 5 business days at least to get everything kind of submitted and get that application approval process pushed through. All right. Um, the $19,000 cap per year, yes. So that is tied to the gift tax. So little backstory, when ABLE accounts were first established, the annual contribution limit was $14,000. And so since then, it's gone up every so often, every couple of years. And so for this year, it did go up to $19,000. And so if it happens to go up for 2026, we typically notify everyone right before the new year if those contributions will go up for that new year. So yes, great question. Oh, so here's a great question. So we have someone joining us from California and they heard about CalAble. Is there a difference between the two? Almost all states offer ABLE savings programs. I think there's just like 2 states that do not currently offer an ABLE program. So the biggest difference is really just who's managing the program. So, you know, if you live in California, and you want to go with California's program, that's great. It's going to have the same rules and requirements as all of the other states. So you would still save up to $19,000 and still have those same qualified disability expenses. But yes, so this is a great question. Again, almost every state offers an ABLE program. And there's also some great tools out there where you can kind of compare the different states' programs. And so one of those tools is the Able NRC, and I can see if I can put that in the chat. So ablenrc.org is a great tool to use. So if you're joining the call tonight from a different state, they have a great state comparison tool on there where you can compare your state to different states. A lot of the states do offer enrollment to everyone. So again, that may be a great resource to use. Very good question. Ooh, another great question. I heard you cannot contribute to both a 529 and an ABLE account. Is that true? That is not true. So you can, we have had account holders have both a 529 account and an ABLE account. You can also roll over 529 funds to an ABLE account. So maybe you established a 529 account for your child, but later determined that an ABLE account would work better for them. You can actually roll over funds from a 529 account to an ABLE account without any penalty. So that's something that you could consider doing. But if you would like to have both, you can contribute to both a 529 account and an ABLE account. Good question. All right, a lot of great questions. We do have a dedicated team in-house that can answer additional questions, or if you're stuck during the application process or need assistance or just want to get some additional information. Our customer service team is available Monday through Friday, 8:30 through 5 p.m. Eastern time. But you can also go to our website. We have a contact us page on there. Um, so you can send an email. They'll be more than happy to reply to your email. But we also have a lot of great resources just available on the website as well. So we have a resource page, the FAQs, but again, our customer service team is here and available to answer questions or assist you. If you will be traveling to Virginia for the games coming up in just a few short weeks, I will be there both weekends. So please feel free to stop by the table. If you have questions, you could come chat with me, or if you just want to come grab some swag, again, I'll be there both weekends, hanging out there and kind of, interacting with the athletes and their families. But I will hang out here for just another moment to see if there's any additional questions coming in. All right. I don't see any additional questions. As a reminder, I believe the webinar is being recorded and will be posted later on. But again, just thank you all for taking the time out tonight to join us, and to thank you, Forrest, for having us tonight and hosting this webinar. And again, I look forward to seeing a lot of you in a few weeks at the National Wheelchair Basketball Games. And if you're not an athlete, if you're not a family member of an athlete, but want to come watch some exciting basketball, please come out to the games. It is a lot of fun. But thank you all again and have a great evening.